Hello everyone, I'm Seth with Exotic Motorsports, and this is our 2003 Volkswagen Eurovan MV. It has 208,355 miles on it. It is in very, very impressive shape for the year and mileage. On the front, it does have some small rock chips kind of scattered throughout. A lot of them have been color matched, so they don't really stand out. You can kind of see the texture defect in the paint, but the color doesn't really stand out. It looks really good. Small dent under the passenger headlight. We're gonna have some blemishes kind of just throughout the front, just due to the age and the mileage. But for the age and the mileage, I will say overall it is a pretty good looking van. There's nothing extremely noticeable. From probably about 2 feet away, I'd say it looks extremely clean. When you start to get closer, you can see the chips and the imperfections in the texture of the paint, but there aren't really any inconsistencies with the color until you get very close. Looking at the driver's side front fender, you have 2 marks there that have been paint matched, and then again a couple rock chips that have been paint matched as well. Looking at the front driver's side wheel, in good shape, just a few scratches and scuffs, nothing serious, no rash, nothing like that. Driver's side mirror has some small rock chips in it, some very negligible defects. Driver's side door has a few scratches. Hopefully you can see them in the video. I'm not sure how well they'll show up. You kind of have to catch them in the light just right. They're not super easy to see. The door looks pretty good. You have a little bit of that black trim kind of rubbing off there around the windows. A little bit of scuffing here in the center section, driver's side. A few other areas that have been touched up. That does make them very unnoticeable, I will say that. Driver's side rear quarter panel, a little bit of scuffing here towards the back. These scratches that have been touched up. Overall, the minor amount of defects that it does have on the side paneling have been corrected pretty well, so they blend in pretty well. A couple of scratches here on the wheels, a little bit of rash there on the spoke. But overall, it looks pretty good. Moving along to the rear of the vehicle. Top of the bumper where the hatch opens into is in good shape. Typically that's a very high wear area. We have very minor scratches and things like that. Very insignificant, hard to see. Face of the rear hatch looks really good. I don't see any marks on the face of the hatch. Moving over to the passenger side, looking at the rear quarter panel. No marks. Up here towards the top, we do have a little bit of scratching. Moving over to the passenger, the larger door in the center. We do kind of have some scratching throughout the panel. Here is probably one of the bigger offenders here, which again is not super easy to see, but you can see it. It wasn't paint matched very well, so I'm not going to say it stands out and it jumps out at you, but it's one of the easier ones to find. The scratching here around the door handle is very light, but it is somewhat abundant. And then of course we have some markings down here. Couldn't really tell you what happened there. Looks like there was an attempt to have it paint matched, but it didn't really go too well. And then here we have some scuffing in the center. There's just a little bit of marks kind of throughout the center of the van. And then here on the front passenger door, everything looks pretty good. I don't see any significant marks or rock chips or anything to point out. The door looks really good actually. Some very, very minor scratching just around the door handle. That's almost not even enough worth talking about. And then here in the passenger mirror, we do have a few more serious blemishes that have been paint matched. Things like that. And then some scratching around on the outside that is pretty shallow but still visible. The front passenger fender, a couple of rock chips that have been paint matched, blend in pretty well. That's about it, otherwise it's very clean. And the front passenger wheel, probably the best looking wheel so far, with only a scratch on the spoke, otherwise flawless. I will go ahead and walk around the vehicle from a 1 foot distance to give you a better big picture idea of the overall condition of the vehicle. It's easy to make it sound like it's in worse shape than it really is by pointing out every defect that it has, but here at Exotic Motorsports we believe in complete transparency and total disclosure of the condition of our inventory to give our out-of-state buyers the confidence and peace of mind they need to purchase a vehicle sight unseen if they choose to do so. Walking around a vehicle from a 1 foot distance is a lot more indicative of what you might notice on a day-to-day basis if you were to own the vehicle yourself, as far as which flaws might be a little more prominent and which flaws are superficial, like I say they are. As a whole, in its entirety, this is a very good looking van. Sure, you can nitpick the scratches and scuffs that it has, but it's 18 years old with 200,000 miles. It's had quite a journey, but honestly none of those things stick out. None of them are glaring defects. I do have the engine running, charge the battery a little bit. So here in the interior we do have tan, kind of beige tan, gray maybe. Yeah, I'd say gray is probably a better color description. Interior cloth and plastic. So here we do have some fading on the driver's side door handle. So let me get the shadow out of the way here. There we go. So we do have a little bit of fading. Again, it's not perfect, but it's still in very, very usable condition. Nothing has been deteriorated or worn out to the point where it's like nothing works right. Everything still functions as new. Cosmetically, it might just not be as perfect as it was from the factory, but I assure you, everything in the vehicle functions as it did new. It just might not be 100% as pretty as it once was. No wear on the steering wheel. The driver's side seat was perfect. The only issue with the driver's side door panel was having a little bit of wear on the door handle. The 18 years of getting in and out of this thing, that's kind of unavoidable. So here we don't have any warning lights. All the gauges, everything works well. Headlights there, power windows that are one touch as well. That's pretty cool for a 2003. And they're bi-directional as well, so they are one touch up and down. Do you have power adjustable mirrors, radio with a cassette player. The air conditioning below is very cold, feels very nice on a warm Oklahoma summer day. The dash is in great shape. It's not been sun faded, cracked, or anything like that. It still looks really good. It does have, thought I had a chip in the windshield, but it doesn't. It does have vinyl flooring covers for the driver and passenger up front. The rest is carpeted. The front passenger seat is also in great condition. These are bucket seats that have armrests, which is super nice for long drives. And then here in the back, I will actually go around and show you that way. So you can see the operation of the sliding door. It's very smooth, doesn't catch, doesn't have any issues there. I know some vans can kind of catch and have a hard time sliding, but this one slides super smooth. Virtually no effort at all required to open it. Feels good. So we've got the rear facing seats here, which are in perfect condition. And then the rear bench seat, no issues with any of the seats. Just have underneath storage as well, and side bins there with the sunshades in it. And of course we have the curtains for all the windows in typical Volkswagen fashion. Closes just as smooth as it opens. It's not one of those vans where you have to use all of your strength to slam the door to ensure that it's closed. It closes very easy. And here we have our engine. There's a 2.8 liter. Idle is very smooth, sounds very healthy, runs and drives great, shifts are super smooth. Overall, it's in awesome shape. It's really pleasant to drive, honestly. It doesn't struggle to get up to speed or anything. It feels very healthy, very comfortable. I love how ergonomic the interior is set up with the rear-facing seats. This is awesome for family road trips and things like that. I mean, really, this van has an endless amount of uses. So that is our 2003 Volkswagen Eurovan MV. If you have any further questions, please feel free to check out our sales listing on our website. You can find that at exoticmotorsportsok.com. Thank you for watching.